Hello, those out there in Katunquit land and those beyond. It is April 22nd, Earth Day, and I'm here with none other than the great, the wonderful, the all-purpose.
The all-purpose?
You're the all-purpose. You are the all-purpose woman.
I don't know what to make of that.
I don't know either. I just made it up. And we have your name as well, Ashlyn Camargue.
Hello, James.
Good to see you, and as always,
Who have you brought us today?
you're all-purpose. I brought you a friend who is a member of the Rodeo Poets, who is, I consider you a beat poet. This is Russell Gunlock, and brother of Dave, who has been on stage here on a couple of occasions. And Russell, would you consider yourself a beat poet?
Well, I was a big Jack Kerouac fan in college. I went through his entire books, read every one of them, from On the Road to the End, Tristessa, and from that I ended up getting to know Allen Ginsberg and Lawrence Ferlinghetti and some of the other poets like Lee Corso.
Oh yeah, Corso, yeah.
Yeah, and I do consider myself a beat poet. I work in a supermarket, major supermarket, and you meet a lot of characters in the supermarket, and it's about slice of life.
Yes, I love what you're doing, and I've always loved your work. Let's give the folks a little idea of what you do, and I'm gonna, well, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start by just doing a little reading about something you sent me. You sent me something that started almost as a poem and then became an artist statement, which I liked very much. Freed from work jail, out on the island, enjoying a brief furlough. So glad to be here. I'm not native to the island. My aunt and uncle lived most of their lives here. I've enjoyed many a family gathering here on holidays for summer cookouts, coming to think of Katunquit as a second or third home. I was born in Providence a month after Red Sox lost the World Series back in '67 to a Baptist minister, and my mother, who was a homemaker before going to work, and an administrative assistant after me. My brother and two sisters grew up. Like military brats, my siblings and I moved several times with our parents from Rhode Island to New London, Connecticut, Framingham, Massachusetts, Camden, New Jersey, and finally Bronxville, New York. We all came back ending up in Rhode Island, I think because I felt like our home away from home, and our extended family was here, no matter where we were living or what church my dad was serving at the time. I think this is like just the style of writing, just writing a note to me about your process, not your process, your background. It came out in that tone that you. I was imitating your tone poorly.
Yeah.
Did he do a good job?
You did a good job. You did a good job.
'Cause
I'm flattered.
There's a lot of I don't know how you do it, but there's a lot of like stops or pauses that have they're hard pauses. You know what I mean? I don't know if you finish a stanza with the word up, work. One poet I know, James Gary, said, "I like small words. Those words are powerful because they hold a lot of power, and I like the way that all fell." And you're just writing me a note, and so I saved it and I have it here for you. But if you could comment about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just when I like to get that dramatic pause, to grab your audience. It's like the silence works.
Yes.
And it will grab people's attention as much as if you were to swear or whatever, to say something dramatic, to be quiet for a second, just so they can gather themselves. Because sometimes, like, my poetry can be so dense, And you can, to stop just to get them, to let them feed off of what I just said. So they're, when I'm moving to the next phase of the poem, they're ready. They're not like, wait a minute, I'm still thinking about the stanza before.
Well, that's so true. And you do it well right here, for instance. You say, my brother Dave has been an island resident for years himself. We like the Buggles video. Killed the radio star fame. Trevor Horn and Jeff Downs are frequent collaborators on a project called Brothers Grimm, which was yielded in 3 compact discs. I love it. I mean, you're not trying to be a poet here. You're trying to convey some information to me, but you're a poet. Like throughout even all of that. Like, we like the Buggles. Right after you talk about your brother living on the island, we like the Buggles.
Is it the Buggles?
The Buggles that killed the radio star, yeah. Jeff Downs and Trevor Horn, they ended up joining Yes and becoming a little more famous. But they're a duo. They did their thing, and almost like Devo, they had that one big song, but then they had the same management as Yes, and Yes had some people leave, and they joined Yes, and they're doing other things now. But yeah, my brother and I, we do things. He's always had the gift of music from my mother, and my father. I got the gift of writing from my grandfather, and we combined. Dave suggested that I use my poems. Been a big supporter of my poetry all my life. Has always pushed me to write poetry and to keep writing poetry, never give up. And my brother, he's a very talented musician who has plays guitar, bass, and drums occasionally.
He's a legitimate poet in his own right.
Oh, he is.
Oh, yeah.
He does write too. He has his own style of writing as well.
When he came here, he dragged his whole drum set in his
yeah.
tiny room.
Now he loops. Now you see him on the stage, and he's looping this into that, and and it takes a few minutes, but once it gets going, it cooks.
Well, the whole part of his presentation is the creation of something live and brand new every time on stage. I like that very much. But let's talk about you for a second here.
Sure.
You collaborated with him to create this this style of poetry, which has music behind it, or in front of it in some cases, I found. When you're doing this, your tone in your intention comes through. You can't really read Russell Gunlock's poetry any other way than the way I just read it, for instance, and it wasn't even a poem. It just sits on the page that way, and it has that power just laying in it. And I love that about what you're doing. And it comes out in this album that you created.
Thank you.
Do they call them albums anymore? CDs, whatever.
CDs, yes.
Yeah, I don't know. Music. Comes out in the musical poems, I will call your stuff. They came out. And you sent me a poem that I've always loved, and you know the one I like.
Yes.
It's called Waiting on the TDI. And I think that this relates to, your health, right, at one point.
Yes,
because you had an ankle injury. Was that work?
It was congenital, but it happened. It kind of was a gradual. It snapped. Yeah. So I was out of work for 8 months, and I was on my back watching The Price is Right and Family Feud, and I got so sick of watching The Price is Right and Family Feud while I was out. I couldn't wait. I would
switch over to Andy Griffith.
And Andy Griffith, I would go to Mayberry every once in a while, but no, I would go outside and I would roll out when I could, and I would just put on albums, Rush or Jethro Tull, or just play albums, and out on the back porch. It was getting nice out, and the weather was changing like it is now. Well, let's a little more consistency, but it was getting warmer, and you could sit outside. And it was one time the neighbor was like, "Wow, you're playing 2112." He's like, "Yeah, it's good stuff, isn't it?"
Yeah. It is good stuff. Now, you're playing it on an old-fashioned
like a CD player, like a CD player.
Oh, CD player.
Yeah, CD player.
Oh, that's old-fashioned.
It's still old-fashioned.
That is old-fashioned now. Yeah, everything's digital now.
Eva was talking about getting a record player. I'd like the idea of doing that. Maybe
you probably still have old records, right?
Yeah. Very few, but yes. Yeah, we have some.
Vinyl's made a huge comeback. Vinyl, supposedly vinyl is
Wasn't
the
it
best sound.
like National Record Day?
Yes, yes, it was.
Last week?
Yes, it was.
Oh, nice.
And Pink Floyd
Hey,
put out a
we're
new.
current.
Yes.
We're current for once on our show, right? We're actually current.
Pink Floyd just put an album out. It's 1975 Live, which was a bootleg, and they legitimized it. And it's all Dark Side of the Moon. Wish You Were Here.
Oh,
Very
Dark
good
Side of the
sound.
Moon. That's
Yeah.
good stuff. They're not doing anything new.
Oh no. David Gilmour and Roger Waters are like Moriarty and Sherlock Holmes right now. They don't like each other.
Oh, all right. So you created this thing. It's wonderful. I recommend that you go to it on Bandcamp. Check it out. It's called Brothers Grimm, and you'll appreciate it. But it's too soon to make that pitch because we have a lot more to talk about. So your mother was more inclined to be a musician, right? Your father was a word guy.
My father was a Baptist minister, and my mother was. Every choir we went to, she was leading the choir. She has a beautiful mezzo soprano voice that just carried everything, and it's a wonderful. You listen to her. My brother would play piano, and my sister would play piano, and my mother would sing, and it was beautiful at home. We would just sit and listen.
Nice.
Yeah.
My mother cooked a lot.
Yeah.
She wasn't much of a singer.
That's a form of art.
Yeah.
She showed me how to cook. She was very good at it. So you started writing. You were influenced by James Douglas Morrison. I don't know James.
James Douglas Morrison is the name of the front
singer
of the Doors.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jim Morrison.
Yes, and I was maybe about 7 or 8 years old, and I'm flipping the radio over, and Riders on the Storm comes on.
Riders on the Storm.
I just
This
and then
house was born.
then I listened to more of it, and Horse Latitudes was his "When the Still Sea Conspires in Armor, and their sullen and aborted currents breed tiny monsters." And I wrote this sinking ship song, which we had sent you, and it's just kind of like like I said, springboarded into Kerouac and Ginsberg and Ferlinghetti and.
Well, let's hear it.
Oh, when you were 7.
Oh, do you want to hear Sinking Ship?
I have it right here.
Okay.
I think you sent it to me, right?
Yes, you did.
Wait. Hey, we're getting technical. We're getting
this is advanced
technological.
stuff.
Here we go. This is some good stuff. And this is Sinking Ship by Russell Gunlock and David Gunlock.
Way the world goes, be drunk, obviously drunk, sunk, unaware, down into an airless domain, which is not the moon, but a simmer of ice. See sights. Taking it all in, like merger mania, bark, saw, fireworks, proceed, revelation about celebrating lust. The Great Direction! Forgot my continent! Conquered by frogman players who seek titanic treasure among the suffocating multitude! A horrid last gasp!
Oh, horrid last gasp.
Horrid last gasp.
Orgasm! Death by suicide in affluent Westchester County! Orgasm! Death!
Oh,
Yes, I have a little background on that. When we were in New York, there was a series of the strangulation where you would strangle yourself to a point.
Yep.
That was going on,
Oh.
and that's where that comes from.
That is a bad thing to do.
It
Do
is
not
a
do
very
that.
bad thing to do. Wouldn't do that. What's the disclaimer they always say? Don't try that at home.
Don't try that anywhere.
Don't try- Yeah,
right.
exactly.
It's
Anywhere. That's bad. So this has some punk rock sound to
Yes.
it too. This
Was that
is-
you reading or was
that's
it Dave?
That's me reading. Dave will read my stuff when he goes solo. When he'll do like the
Yes.
Westerly reading, or he'll go to the Ganny and he'll read. He'll do my stuff.
You guys do sound a bit alike.
Yeah, we do. We have.
Oh.
He's got the blonde hair and I'm more of a dark hair, but we're
But I would say on this topic, Russell's reading will be different. Dave will admit that he's reading in the style of Russell when he reads Russell's poems.
I was just noticing that I thought it was Russell, but then a few times I heard words that sounded just the way when I listened to David.
my
at the-
brother. Yeah.
Mm.
It's-
So as you went through this, you Allen Ginsberg, Lawrence Ferlinghetti. You mentioned some other poets that really influenced you, and that's been great. And it comes out in your poetry for sure.
Well, thank you.
I would see that was more of a music forward. I would call it music forward presentation, whereas I'm more inclined to like the music background more, because I'm a word guy, right?
Yeah.
So you had some publishing experience, right? So you published some poetry books over the years, and there was some success over the years. Obviously, published poet. So that's kind of fun. Do you go out and do some readings? Occasionally you read with us, for sure.
When I can, my schedule at work is pretty demanding. I go in at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I have to get up at 4:30 to get ready, take care of the cat and all that. And then sometimes, like in a couple of weeks, you're going to be doing a reading at your home.
Yes.
When I was doing this with Dave, I got into Jim Carroll and I'm trying to think of Black Flag, Henry Rollins. They do spoken word stuff as well, and they're both very well. Carroll's a little less aggressive, but Henry Rollins is very aggressive, and you like you said, when I read, I try to, because I'm very forceful. I try to get the words out, but I also want people to understand them. You know what I mean? It's
That's critical.
yeah, and it's
Poetry.
forceful I try to sound forceful, because then it grabs their attention, because you're sitting in a bar or you're sitting in an open reading or whatever, people are talking, people are distracted, it's like,
Yeah,
wake up, it's like, come on,
sure.
you got to command their attention somehow. And if you don't, I mean, I could read something, I could be very soft and just prattle on and roll on and but then nobody listens, and you just got to have to get people to pay attention.
Reach out and grab them. The words can grab them too, and you pull that off.
Thank you.
I can give you another example, but I was going to. You mentioned Ferlinghetti, and I have a poem I chose for that. It's called "Bird with Two Right Wings."
Yes.
And now our government, a bird with two right wings, flies on from zone to zone, while we go on having our little fun and games at each election, as if it really mattered who the pilot is of Air Force One. They're interchangeable, stupid. Well, this bird with two right wings flies right on with its corporate flight crew, and this year it's the great movie cowboy in the cockpit, and next year it's the great Bush pilot, and now it's the chameleon kid, and he keeps changing the logo on his captain's cap, and now it's a donkey, and now an elephant, and now some kind of donkey fant, and now we're recognized two of the crew who took out a contract on America, and one is a certain gringo wretch who's busy monkey-wrenching crucial parts of the engine and its life support systems, and they got a big fat hose to siphon off the fuel to privatize tanks, and all the while we just sit there in the passenger seats without parachutes, listening to all the news that's fit to air over the one-way PA system about how the contract on America is really good for us, etc., etc., as all the while the plane lumbers on into its post-mortem manifest destiny. Lawrence Ferlinghetti, it's as if he's living today.
Ferlinghetti is very timely.
Yes.
You know he was the one that published Howl. Howl.
He published it, but
And then they had
Alan wrote it.
Yes, but they had
Alan
a big censorship
Ginsberg.
issue. It was banned, and then they took him to court to get Alan, to free speech to get that poem out there. Ferlinghetti was a publisher, but he also was a very powerful. The dog walks freely through the street. Coney of the Island of the Mind.
Yes.
A lot of really powerful, poignant stuff. And an interesting fact that he lived in Bronxville, New York, not at the same time I did, but we were in that same. I know a lot of the area, the bridges that he writes about, and some of the things that he references from Bronxville, New York. And it's a nice connection. It's over by, I don't know if you're in the area, but Concordia College, it's right over there.
Oh,
and yeah, he was a very, for me, I found him to be the more, he wasn't as like Alan was an experimenter. They used a lot of psychedelic drugs, but I didn't see Ferlinghetti was their steady hand, basically. He was the pragmatist of the group.
Yeah. Well, if we look at this, your college experience, you spend a little time at the Café de la Tête.
The Café de la Tête. Yes.
What is the meaning? I know what cafe is.
Café of the Mind.
Ah, Tête. Which met in the URI Memorial Union.
Yes.
So you went to the University of Rhode Island, where you were billed as the supermarket poet.
The supermarket poet.
Were you working at the supermarket at that point, too?
I did work I did work part-time in the Narragansett store.
Oh, good.
Yes.
And they called you that because you brought a lot of that experience into your poetry?
Yes, I wrote a little chapbook about supermarket poems, and it's like I said, there's a lot of interesting characters that you meet when you go, both customers and employees. Then when you go into work in a supermarket or a retail business, they get people from all kinds of across the walks of life. You get a nice cross section of cultures.
Yes.
To draw from.
Can we hear a supermarket poem?
Well,
absolutely.
If you didn't say that, I was going to. Nice job. That's a good transition. Let's hear a supermarket
I want to
poem.
hear if I totally recognize this.
Do you want Jack Walks In? Do you want to play Jack?
Is that from the supermarket?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's play.
Okay.
We have another example recorded, and we're really breaking some ground here with this recording stuff, because this is really high tech for me. I'm going to push this button right now, and then we're going to hear Russell and Dave, both Gunlocks, on this recording. Bond.
Yes.
James Bond. This gives me the rest I need. I can get my head here.
Jack walked in. The night crew chief never noticed him. Drinking buddy over by the magazine rack wanted to know. Jack watched me. I watched him. On a humid summer overnight, a trench coat derby wearing derelict looked mighty suspicious. a notebook. His next book might as well be the next gospel according to Mailer. The guava, passion, fruit juice display in front of Bio 5. Jack passed by the vegetable island, his own paradise lost. The bizarre food counter, always too many customers online, craving their daily bread. Only frozen vegetables now. Jack approaches the register like he's really gonna pay, acting like one of those tourists who come in and ask, "Where's the beer?"
Oh my goodness, that's so Rhode Island because where's the
Yes,
beer, right?
Yes.
You
yes.
reference Mailer in there too. I mean,
Gospel according to Mailer.
Mailer.
Yes.
I love the references too,
Thank
and
you.
the reading of it. You can the style comes right through your reading style, but the reference up to Rhode Island is so Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Yeah, where's the beer? It is true that you get customers like that all the time. They come in and they you know, it's not the beer. Where's the something or where's that? You know, it's just now it's worse because they got the DoorDash people that come in, the Instacart people come in, and they're frantic because they're under a time
Yeah,
constraint.
they got to get it
They
and
got to
get
get
out.
it and get out. Yeah, they're like, where's this? Where's that? Where's that? Where you know? And it's like, oh, okay, it's right over there. Don't worry. It's right over here. Don't worry.
I don't know why, but the music and the way you were reading, it made me think of the Batman and Robin TV series.
Well, Jack and Ernie are sort of, in the literary sense, they're both like Batman and Robin. Actually, they're kind of polar opposites of each other, but they're friends. They've been friends forever. In my sketching of a novel that I'm going to write at some point, they meet the first day of kindergarten, before kindergarten, outside in the schoolyard, and people are talking about Reagan and Carter. And they're both listening to their parents, and one of them likes Carter and one of them likes Reagan. They don't know why, but the people are all arguing about it, and Jack and Ernie are sort of arguing about it because they've been told by their parents who to vote for. So it's like, you know, but it's that's the beginning of the story, and they both, you know, that's where their friendship starts.
Kindergarten.
Yes, in kindergarten, before kindergarten, actually, they're both waiting to go in. You know,
Now, is it linear, this story?
it is, but I'm sort of right now. It's sort of all over the place.
Yeah. Okay.
I try to background it with current events, and we're living in crazy times, so it's fertile ground for to take and say, oh yeah, I'm going to write, yeah, he did this, okay, so I'm going to document that and say, okay, he did this, and this would work well in this respect within the story.
That's fairly abstract what you just said, because
I followed it. So,
saw
like, if you have to build it in, then you might have to go back
Exactly.
into the past to set up that
I see.
eventuality.
Okay.
I've been pretty much documenting since like January 6th.
Yes.
So, you know, it'd be these things, you know, there's a protest, there's a Capitol riot, but it's all different. You know, it's not like it is here in reality. It's a different story. It's a story I'm creating for the future. So when people look back and say, wow, you know, this was no matter how you feel, we are living through the most interesting times right now. I mean, it's almost like the French Revolution, our revolution. It's almost like, you know, the Civil War. This is a very interesting time to live in.
Oh yeah. No
It's
doubt
very
about that.
chaotic.
It is chaotic, and you know,
It creates a lot of stress. I mean,
it does.
angst.
It does, and that, you know, that's the fear. That's the discomfort that people feel because, you know, rising gas prices and things,
How about
expensive groceries.
Well, and the future is so unknown.
Exactly.
It's the demolition of norms, you know, traditional norms that we've always accepted from government.
Yeah.
You know, that they're going to be smart, that they're going to be give us consistency, that allies are allies.
You
I mean,
know,
all these things.
It's
Very troubling. How do you find a voice, like, for your writing? Like, when I don't only know you through your poetry, but I know that when I'm writing, the first 100 pages or so, I really don't know the characters yet.
Right.
I have an idea and they're on an outline. I've told the audience this before, but then after about 100 pages, I kind of get to know them and they get to know me, and then the voice comes out, and then I go back and rework the first 100 pages to death. It's roughly 100. But the pages, the characters have a voice, and it's important that you understand their voice. I hear your voice coming through all of your poetry. How do you bring that out? What is that coming from?
Well, Thomas Wolfe, I believe, said that every character. It's not the people get upset because Thomas Wolfe wrote this book, Town and the City, about his hometown, and it's almost like Jesus Christ. You can't go back to your hometown because they know you as the carpenter. They don't know you as the famous. Thomas Wolfe is a famous writer. He was just the guy that lived in our town. And here he is talking about this one and talking about that one and seeing this one. And people read it and they see themselves. No, a collage. I like characters are a collage. They may have aspects of one person or another person, maybe 5 people.
Mm.
It's
I like the way you talk about it as a collage.
That's what it is.
It's
not
decoupage.
because
Remember
it is.
that?
Artists get in so much trouble because people are assuming that I'm writing about. They may be, but artistic license, but they may be writing about a certain person. But it's a like a painting. It's like you're putting paint on a canvas, all different colors, and it creates one character.
Yes, I thoroughly agree with that. But there is nonfiction in all fiction.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course. You got to have a basis for what you're writing about in fiction.
Right, because your lived experience is nonfiction.
Exactly.
And that's what you're...
Mm-hmm. Just an aside, today is Earth Day, and...
What have you done for your Earth
I
today?
did. I went out for a couple hours and picked up all the minuscule, I call them smalls, little pieces of plastic I picked up the bigger ones too. But much of it now at the shoreline where I went, and there's a lot of shoreline here, so everybody pick up trash always. And it's in the rack line. You know what the rack line is? Yeah.
And it's small.
Yeah.
It's small. It's very small, and you have to pick it up and get it out of the system so it doesn't end up in
And that's the stuff you can see.
And some of it's floating in the water. And
Well, also
being
even in the
ingested by
sand,
the
it's
fish.
so small now, you can't even... I mean, you can't clean the beach with a pair of tweezers.
No. That would really be a difficult task, yeah. Well, anyway, that's what I did. So I encourage others, get out there, clean up your world wherever you are.
Save the planet.
Try to. Do your best. What they say, tries are for rugby, get it done. So you find your voice through this collage, this decoupage of bits. I like the way you think about that.
Kaleidoscope effect.
So you have presented at the Wednesday Night Live at the Ganny in that other town next door, Jamestown, at the Narragansett Cafe on I think it's the third Wednesday of the month, and you've been very successful there. The
Thank
people
you.
are very attentive. You grab the audience, and what's difficult in a bar setting is to hold them, and you did it well.
Thank you.
Recently, James Gary came in, had the same success with poetry. So the audience is actually, I think, is becoming more attuned to what's going to happen. You know, they seem to have a better understanding that this is like it's not just a bunch of men with guitars,
Right.
and women too, but mostly men with guitars. From the music side of things, what we're finding is we're getting a lot more spoken word activity there, and there seems to be a safe space. for
Are you
people.
still alternating between
Yeah, we do.
music and...
We alternate. Do you think that's a good idea?
No, I do think that's a good idea. Are you coming out with equal amounts, or are you at the end of the night? Do you have a bunch of spoken things? Or
We're maybe one or two music acts ahead of spoken,
Mm-hmm.
but I think we're gaining. We're gaining on that.
And it's very honest. I like the scene here because everybody's really honest. You go to Providence, and there's a lot of people up there that want to be, they're posers. They basically want to go up there and I'm great. Everybody's on an equal footing. Everybody's very supportive here, and I appreciate all of your support too, Jay. And then it's just it's very nice to be in a situation like that. And I wish I could get down here more because it is very. It's like filling the gas tank and not having to pay $4 a gallon.
No, I love the way you said that. Yeah, makes me very happy.
Thank you.
Because,
That could be a quote in your next ad.
yes, can you remember it?
It's recorded.
Filling the
Yeah,
gas
it'll
tank.
find it.
Yes. I actually wrote a poem about the audience and I think the responsibility of someone that's in a host position, and I do some of the performing too, but when I'm in the host position, it's to be generous to others. Like, I'm a huge, in my mind at least, and hopefully you feel the same, I'm a big Russell Gunlock supporter. I believe in what you're doing. I really do. And I have people in my life that do that too for me. And, Brian Smith from URI. I didn't know the man from Adam. And I show up. He likes what I'm doing. He becomes a big supporter and helps with our program here. So those kinds of people in our lives are so important. I feel the same about you and your support and your brother's support for me. And Ashlyn, you too. Appreciate everything that you do to support what we're doing here. The arts are important to the community, and it builds. The community has really embraced this, the community of Jamestown, and subsequently, a lot of Katunkwitonians are heading over there to do, to express themselves, and perhaps we could get this, same kind of program at the Katunkwit Cafe. So I think the owners are related, so you could do something perhaps there.
Maybe
But
we'll-
why rebuild it? It's already over there, so we'll just head.
Yeah,
over
it's
there.
it's okay to leave your town and go to another town. I know it's tough for a lot of people in Rhode Island.
It is tough. Well, with the way the roads are now, the way the construction is, they're blowing up Route 4. It's like, every 10 and 11, you can't be around Route 4 between 10 and 11 every day because they're blowing up for that thing they're making, whatever it is. And construction's everywhere, and it's anxiety. It's just trying to get around the state. It's even where I live, the main arteries are being, they're working on the main arteries, and there's a lot of cars and short of patience.
Yes, road rage.
Did you come down from Providence?
Well, I live in Warwick.
Oh, you live in Warwick.
I live up in Warwick, and like I said, they've come down. Like you were saying about people coming in from other towns. It would be beautiful to get people to come down to escape that stale scene up in Providence, to come down here where everything's fresh, and friendly.
Oh, they're doing some good things in
Oh,
Providence.
they are.
too.
No, I know
Yeah,
they are.
I like
but
to
just-
escape and go to Providence.
That's true.
I just don't like going. I don't like Providence, driving in there and being around and being in there. It's like, I'm not a city guy. I really am not.
I wrote this poem recently. It's called "And You Are the Drug." Okay, so we talked about the audience, and I want to read this to you because it seems like it's pertinent. And then I'd like you to read another poem from that supermarket poem.
Okay.
And it's called "And You Are the Drug" by James Allen. I like freedom of thought, circuitous dissemination through nonlinear experiential learning, curious riddles resulting in loss, gain, error, truth, and discerning, to be cast and abandoned amongst weeds and viral vermin, bloodied and yearning, hostile takeover, an embodiment of mind and soul, enter a proverbial educational rabbit hole, cry out in black of night when I finally know. I'm able to articulate about seeds I intend to sow, Test my audience tolerance and will. Leave them seeking breath at the windowsill during nighttime's surly chill as they sip from my offering of word wine, leveraging their perception of time, qualifying words in juxtaposition of mine, noticing with a nod of an occasional off-rhyme, my words living in their minds. These nights spent with you at bar stools, tables, and ate seeking sustenance, drinking food, and you're always expecting something new, as I am to suspend common belief, bring you somewhere you don't know you want to go, without disrupting flow, discarding what is commonly known, yet I try, as these are the only seeds I sow. I'm learning from convoluted ancient maps as I go. And what is your responsibility? To maintain common civility, question quietly, nod heads, laugh at absurdity and irony, and when I'm exposed thoroughly, find it in your hearts to cry for me, with me, as I am happiest standing at a cliff of uncontrolled emotion, straying from society's list of cautions, far from headwaters of commonly held norms, and in a raging river afloat in a torrid storm, in the tempest of contradiction and misunderstood juxtaposition, acting as my own physician. And you are the drug.
So, for some reason, I was thinking, what kind of music would you set that to if you were using Russell and James's style?
I like freedom of thought, circuitous dissemination, through non-linear experiential learning, curious riddles resulting in loss, gain, error, truth, and discerning to be cast and abandoned amongst weeds and viral vermin.
Well, my point was that that poem did need a pretty strong, maybe not a punk type soundtrack, but something. I think it was heavy enough that it was not going to go with some bluesy, calming.
Some Miles Davis jazz fusion.
I
Could be.
like freedom of thought, circuitous dissemination through
That's not going to cut it.
Well, that sounds like a country song.
learning.
Yeah.
That sounds like
Bada
almost like
bing,
a.
bada bang, bada boom, bada boom. Okay, so there we are. Jocularity. What's the least funny word in the English language? We've talked about this before. Jocularity.
Jocularity.
All right, so let's hear from the poet, Russell Kunlock.
I'm going to read you something new. That's a supermarket poem.
Okay, a new supermarket poem.
And it's titled Supermarket Poet. Freed from work jail, Peeper's Market used to be Evans Market. Nice and little, run by a family before the corporate raiders took over the business out on the island. Enjoying a brief furlough, so glad to be here out on the beach, soaking up ultraviolet rays. The fluffy white cloud floater lost his mind. Can he see or is he blind? Enjoying his magic carpet ride. Can he walk at all? Or if he moves, will he fall? Is he alive or dead? Does he have thoughts within his head? Red as a lobster, they'll pass him by, laying there. Why should anyone care? Summer mercenary, it seems, working for the highest bidder, leaping from store to store, company troubleshooter, sent in as a stringer, caddy weak leads, fix problems. Every store could get a carbon copy, a supermarket poet, Commander Data in every store, a clone army led by Jango Fett. Split in 3, work in different stores, extra paychecks coming in as needed. Me, myself, and I, multiplicity, more than one paycheck. Ping pong ball, pinball machine, bounced around all summer, hoping the next leap closer to home.
Is that somewhat autobiographical?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's about as confessional as you'll get from me.
And confession it is. I noticed that you will use the cliche now and again. Like
Oh, I'd like
me,
to.
myself, and I. You'll throw that in amongst, but you couple it with other um, interesting elements. I can't give
like
you the quote, but I know you used me, myself, and I. So I found I don't get stuck on it like you would oftentimes with a cliche. You'll get stuck on it. It seems to fit. It's a sounding device you use, I think, but I don't know.
With Brothers Grimm, I like to, and my brother likes, especially when I use obscure references or anachronisms.
Yes.
It's just he's like, it's timeless. It's almost like, I use like a fax machine society or an 8-track player or something like that to convey a message. But again, yes, I do draw to the cliche once in a while, but I try not to dwell on it because I know how that sounds. It's very trite, but it helps in certain, because it brings the familiarity in too, because I like to do a lot of abstract kind of stuff and try not to like get into the reality too much.
Well, you obviously you don't always rhyme things,
Oh, no.
and you did in that poem, and I did as well. But what comes from your work, and I'll ask you the same question of me, in that piece that was rhyming, is you're not like stuck on a rhyme. It works, it flows, and for those of you that are writing poetry, it's important not to have obvious rhymes.
Right.
And it shouldn't be like the reader should not be sitting there, trying to anticipate the next rhyme. It has to be it has to flow. I don't know if I pulled it off, but I think you did.
Well, it's usually unintentional. When I rhyme, it's unintentional. I'm not going to go, I do sometimes like I will like rune, dune, whatever, do a little wordplay, but I used to like a lot of E.E. Cummings because he was very unpredictable too. I mean, he would throw you half a line and then throw it on another line, and sometimes the words would rhyme in almost in an accidental sense.
He was a war poet.
Yes, he
World
was.
War One. Yeah,
Loved him. He was so experimental. He was he was almost like the Bird of Charlie Parker of the day, as far as
Oh,
poetry. Bebop, almost, free flow, kind of, nothing. How do you want to say it? Concrete or, just predictable.
yeah, I would agree. Charlie Parker is the singer,
Charlie Parker, the trumpet player,
the trumpet player.
who Jack Kerouac used to love to go into when he was at Columbia. He used to love to go into the clubs in New York and listen to Charlie Parker and Miles Davis. He loved bop music. He used to go in, and that's how he wrote too. He would just get a scroll and he'd free write, and that's mostly how he wrote on the road.
He did. He wrote it on a scroll,
Yes.
which not many people are doing that anymore.
No. There's also the Jack Kerouac Museum is going to be opening up in Lowell pretty soon, in an old church they're converting.
That's exciting.
Yes.
Lowell.
Yes, I want to make a road trip.
That's where he grew up, right?
Yes,
Grew up
and-
in Lowell.
Yes, there's a good book too of called Dr. Sachs, which kind of is set in Lowell, and it's a very vivid picture of Lowell.
It's a wonderful movie about the fighter from Lowell too.
Yes,
You know that movie?
yes,
I really captured it. There were two rather Ethan Hawke,
yes,
who played a great character in that,
yes.
and
I'm trying to
then
remember the name of it.
the other fellow, who's in everything now. This is a song I wrote called "Dyslexic God" and "The Hollow Road," but in this poem, God is dog, and dog is actually, inverting the word, So it's called "Dyslexic God" and "The Hollow Road." I'll try to sing it. Please help me to control myself. I don't want to spot on Peter's shelf. Time has taken my mind, my legs, dog. Help me to control myself. 'Cause I've been down a hollow road, taking life as it goes. Time never seems to slow and hold. Just me and you, dog, on a hollow road. I wake in the morning, fool, make my bed, put on my shoes, walk with dog for a cup of joe. Hollow town seems so slow. So dog, you hear me, I'm talking to you. Can't believe how time just flew. Dog, is there a place up there for me, atop your lofty dogwood tree? Sell myself down a hollow road, regret taking life as it goes. Time doesn't seem to ever hold, just me and you, dog, on a hollow road. Dog, when you call me, take me fast. I don't want the pain to last. Please don't dwell on my wicked past, or for my hollow life live too fast. 'Cause I've been down a hollow road, taking life as it goes. Time doesn't seem to ever hold, just me and you, dog, on this hollow road.
Nice.
Yeah, you've got that old country style, that old Johnny Cash style. Yeah. I love it.
I mean, it's such a compliment to say that. Thank you. But that's the only people ever say. That's all they ever say about my singing.
Well, that's why I preface it by old school country, because it is. It's just, country's so commercial now, but that's just soul. You know what I mean? It's soul.
Wow.
There's soul in that. I mean, there's a lot of music. It doesn't have to be country, but modern music doesn't have a lot of soul. Most of it.
Well, that's quite a compliment. We do have to move to some commercials. We'll be right back here. Well, it's that time to pay the bills once again. We are. Eva wants the cash. We gotta get the cash in. So here we are. Gino's Portable Brick Pizza is available for on-the-spot pizza making in your yard. We set up in seconds with a gas-fired portable pizza oven. It's always hot and at the ready. Available Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday evenings. A truck and trailer will arrive at your house and within 10 minutes provide you with handmade brick oven pizza made by Gino Tonelli. We can whip them out. So if it's a single pizza on a Thursday date night or 60 pizzas on a site, we have the crew for your prized pizza event. Let Gino's be the talk of your next event. Gino's Portable Pizza. Cool new company.
That's a good idea, actually.
Yeah, I think it is, yeah. You say actually, I don't know. A lot of the ideas are good.
Well, some of our commercials are sort of strange.
Yes. Well, everybody's got to come up with an idea. They got to follow through with it, and then...
I think this business will make some money.
Oh. Well, maybe you should do it. Mark Effernom. Fly Fisher Extraordinaire is offering fly fishing experiences for parties of up to 5 for the saltwater fly fishing experience of a lifetime. Join Mark this spring at the May Worm Hatch at Ninigret Pond or in Sheffield's Cove for the annual striped bass migration to New England waters, which is coming right up, by the way. Learn the finer techniques of fly fishing and take advantage of Mark's inner knowledge of the areas he fishes. Fee for the 4-hour program for an individual is $200, $150 per person for parties of more than 2 persons. Mark says, it's not about the money. I just like to motivate people to get out in nature and be one with the water. Well, if it's not about the money, we could make a lot less, maybe, perhaps, Mark. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I guess that's a pretty good price. People need to be paid for their expertise.
Do a lot of people fly fish in saltwater?
Oh, yeah. It's very big. Striped bass fishing it's one of the best areas in the world for striped bass fishing with a fly rod. Although we have a lot of wind. But the Narrow River is one spot. Are you aware of this place? Yes, you are.
Mm-hmm.
Out on Route 1A on the way to Narragansett Beach. There is a significant fly fishing situation there. And I remember fishing there one night, and I had a big light on my boat. And I wasn't fishing fly fishing. I was fishing for striped bass. The bottom was covered with stripers. They were all just massive stripers. Everywhere you looked, there was fish in there just waiting for the fish to come down. So if Mark Effernim, could give him a call, he'll hook you up with everything you need to know about that. Arts Everything Staging Site. Arts Everything Staging Site. Call Art Corvalet for all your staging sites, including, Art Corvalet.
I was going to
Of
say,
course.
yeah.
Yes, he happens to be my nephew. He's advertising with us now. It's wonderful. Call Art Corvalet for all your staging site needs, including but not exclusive to outdoor car storage, stump storage for eventual chipping and repurposing, outdoor art storage center. Art has 30 acres of prime storage area for all your outdoor storage needs. Contact Art when you need a place to store your next load.
He's quite the entrepreneur, Art.
He is, and he's shucking oysters now, I understand, too. He's a hard-working guy. The Dexter Movie Studios will be conducting movie-making activities on the island of Katunquit. This is exciting news.
Very good.
And are seeking assistance with the following. So this is the Dexter Movie Studios. Site location development, manager of transportation. These are all different jobs. Catering, police and fire details, intermediary with town offices. I could do that. Antique car location and deployment. I'd like to do that too. Dress shop owner, not me. Shucker, personal drivers and valets for director and cast. I think I could do that. Ballroom dancers. No. Flowers, 24-hour access to a food market. Arborist, 1. They need an arborist. Hairstylist, a cemetery. What's a cemetery? They need a cemetery? I guess.
For shooting at?
Yeah. Hot tub access. One restaurant in its entirety for 12 hours. I like that. One master gardener, a second master gardener. That's funny, because it
That's a
can
huge
only
production.
be one master.
Yeah.
And more, it says. So I guess you contact Dexter Movie Studios. They'll be in town for the summer making a film. They didn't indicate what the film was, but it has a lot of fun things in it. It apparently has a cemetery and a restaurant and a lot of antique cars, so that we can only guess. And they never tell us anything, do they? So that was all we had here for advertising today. Eva, sorry about that. Won't have to just you eat less this week. Okay? So where are we? Let's hear another poem
Of course.
from our friend.
Would you like to hear TDI?
I love TDI.
Let me-
Let's
let
hear
me
the
play
TDI.
Okay, let me just give you a minute to cue it up.
And just remember, like, people go through stuff, right? I mean, I
Yeah.
just recently went through this back problem issue that I had. And, I wasn't on any TDI, but it was, just horrible being, out of it, really, for so
Yes.
long.
Yes, now I gotta find it. Oh my God. Wait a minute. TDI. I am.
Well, you find it. I'm going to
Okay.
go stop for a bathroom break. And,
Okay.
and I know one thing, that Ashland is capable of asking questions, too.
Oh, absolutely. Very
All
good.
right, so we
Shoot
can just
away.
continue without
Fire
you.
away.
So TDI is temporary disability insurance?
Yes, I was, like I said, I was locked. I had an ankle injury, and I had actually my whole foot. I have congenital high arches, and my ankles were turned inverted. So somebody in my 20s, a doctor told me that I was going to have problems with my feet in my 50s. Sure enough, I had problems with my feet.
Right
so-
on schedule?
Right on schedule, and I had the doctor. He was out of Attleboro, Dr. Greenberg. He reconstructed my entire left foot. So
Wow.
it took 8 months to get, and I have another poem that I wrote about actually walking in the grass barefoot and actually being able to put my foot down flat and feel it. And it's just the feeling of that.
Because
after
you'd
a
never
rain.
done that before?
Never done it before. My foot has always been arched.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those that though it was just a beautiful feeling, and I wrote a poem about it, and I feel like I'm going to find TDI now. It's let's see,
So Russell is
waiting on the TDI.
queuing it up on his
Trying to
phone.
find it. Yes, I like to read. People are always get their noses in their phone. Okay, I got it. People are always get their noses in their phone, and I do this on stage too, because I look at the crowd and you see people like texting, you see people on their phones or taking selfies of each other, and it's like, hey, I got my phone too, and it's I'm going to read off the this poem is waiting on the TDI. Bummed out about my holy socks. Worried about the future. In a month, Esquire Wolf at my door if I can't pay my rent. I feel like an April Fool. My foot aches. I feel icky. They threw Reggie Cleveland back out on the hill against a team with 106 losses, always finding a way to lose. Gone from dependable to dependent. A glass arm out of gas. Face of the franchise, better behind the scenes. I hate relying on people. I hate giving orders. Conquer the world. Leave people alone. I'll mind my own business if you mind yours. I'm still waiting on the TDI. When you occupy the lowest rung on the company ladder, there is no expectation. Gumballs over the counter. Band-Aid my ailments, oxycodone. A crappy, callous railroad lawyer inside my house now. Wolf Esquire. Will there be a big settlement? Are you an ambulance chaser? Watcher of the Skies meets Kid A. You decide. Pinocchio, Geppetto, Forrest Gump, or Jimmy Carter. Best to be productive at something rather than having to wait.
It's the repetition of waiting on the TDI that's so strong in this poem, because it gives you that sense of, I'm waiting to heal.
Yeah.
We're all waiting to heal, but then the government is holding us back too for the TDI.
And you had a lot of time to think.
It's
Yes.
that we talk about anachronisms. That Reggie Cleveland was a pitcher for the Red Sox back in the 70s. It wasn't on against. He wasn't a great. First game I always saw him, Fenway Park, was Patriots Day in '77. Reggie Cleveland. My father and I were late because it was a traffic jam. Third inning, it was already 14-1. But this was my first experience at Fenway Park. So there's Carlton Fisk, the grass, the whole experience. So it was wonderful for me as a kid. But if I was where I am now, I'd be like, oh my God, what did I walk into?
You mentioned earlier in your introduction to self that you were born the year the Red Sox lost the World Series.
Yes.
It's so funny that, it was a great year for them. They actually won the pennant, and then they went on and lost the World Series. But it's funny that you mentioned that, because it's like that there's a loss from the start. But what an experience getting to the ball field. I had a similar experience going to the game in '68. So I went in '68. We saw the Senators. I think I've mentioned this. And they had a guy who played first base who hit the ball so hard it looked like the shortstop was going to catch it. It went over his glove and it went right out of the stadium like a missile. I'd never seen anything like it in my
line drive home run.
drive home run over the rocket ship, over the big monster.
That's impressive.
That
That
had to be the
was.
boomer, George Scott.
It was it was the opponent.
Oh, was the owners, the
It was
Senators?
the
That was
Senators, big guy.
Boog Powell, not Boog
Boog
Powell.
Powell.
Was it Boog Powell?
I think it was Boog Powell.
Yeah.
First baseman, big guy, and that was impressive to me. But we got to the final inning. I think I may have mentioned this to the audience, but bear with me. The final inning, and Dad, maybe the 7th or 8th inning, Dad said, "Oh, we got to go." I said,
That's my
why?
dad, too.
Because of traffic.
Yeah, my dad was the same
So
way.
we listened to. We were down by a run, and we came back and won the game. Boston did, and I'm in the car listening to it.
Not before.
No.
So now when you go to a basketball game or wherever you go to watch a game, do you always stay till the end?
Yes, I do. Unless
I do too. Even if they're not winning.
or even if they're blowing the other playing team out.
Yeah, I stay.
There's so
Yeah.
much, you pay so much money to go and put in the effort to get there, and it's you want to stay. You want to finish it out. You don't want to leave early.
I
Because
listen.
you're also there for more than just the game. It's kind of
Atmosphere is absolutely, yeah.
And we also go and we watch a movie, and then we'll watch all the credits after.
Yes.
We find out who the key grip was. Really credible stuff.
Well, if you're watching a Marvel movie, or if you're watching a Marvel movie, you get the end credits. You'll get some of them even have 3 of them. You go like Captain America. We'll go through like 10 minutes of credits, and then they'll come up with this
there'll
little
be this
scene
little
to kind of leave you, to give you something to chew on while you're waiting for the sequel.
Well, I don't watch any Marvel movies, but that's my weakness, apparently. So we're going to do a little of this. We are jumping around a lot today. It's bullshit or not. Is it bullshit or not? Matt Dillon, played by James Arness in the series Gunsmoke. He played that part for 20 years. Was shot 56 times during the show's 20-year run. Is that true? Was poisoned 3 times, and is that true? And was shot by an arrow once, mostly in the upper left arm. He's reported to have shot 168 people dead, including 161 men and 7 women. If including the 5 made-for-TV movies, the number of people he shot was 407 people over 20 years. Is it bullshit, or is it not?
I think that's true.
It's totally possible that's true, but I'm trying to imagine what his body looks like if he had actually been shot and not just
You have a thing
in
for
a
him?
film.
You wanna
No,
look at
I'm
his
just
body?
thinking like if most of these shots were to the upper left arm, what the hell does his upper left arm look like now?
Yeah, right.
Well, as is the case with the rifleman too. He shot like 3,700 people or something.
Yeah, but he didn't get shot that many times.
No, he didn't. He was not shot that often. His son would have been a mess if he did. I thought that was interesting. It's true. Just so it is not bullshit. And we have that to go.
Does
by.
he ever take his shirt off?
Oh no, I don't remember seeing.
No,
him.
I
There
never
wasn't a lot of
I used to watch it with my
suntanning back
dad.
then.
No.
That was the old. Now he would take his shirt off.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. But he had a big limp towards the latter part of his career. And
Even though he kept getting shot in the arm, he was
That's
limping.
It. That's it.
And I think it was back problems from being on a horse all the time. It seemed like I'm just basing that on my own experience with back problems.
Have you ridden a lot of horses?
No. I kicked 1,000,000 soccer balls for a living, and that was probably why my back is so twisted up. The origins of the word corduroy. Do you have any idea? Just break it up.
No.
Corduroy.
I mean, cord. Yeah, they're like cords running down the leg of the pants. But I don't know what the Roy part is.
The origin of the word
French.
corduroy is uncertain, but most French, right? But mostly widely accepted explanation is that it comes from the combination of cord, referring to the raised rib texture of the fabric, and duroy. Pardon me for that cough. An obsolete 17th century English name, duroy, for a coarse fabric is duroy. The construction reflects the fabric's defining feature, vertical ridges or wales, and its sturdy, durable nature. A common but incorrect folk etymology suggests it's from the French phrase "corde du roi," the king's cord, but this is not supported by historical evidence. The reason I brought this to you today is that I was at a dinner party at my house, and one of the members said it was it meant the king's cord. So I went and looked it all up, and as you can do now, you can just ask your phone. So there we are. It's
So
not.
you're telling us you're not
king's
really
cord.
asking us if this is.
Yeah, I'm not. In this case, no, I'm not.
So DeRoy is actually what you said it is in this definition.
Court of the king.
Oh, it's not.
No, it's not.
Not
It's
Court of the
some
King. It was thought
English
it was.
word
Oh,
for a fabric.
gotcha.
The equivalent fabric was called velours or coté, not code du roi. Some alternative theories link it to corsoi from corde de soie, silk rope. But these are speculative and not definitively proven.
Do you have any corduroys?
I threw out my last pair. I don't like them anymore.
Yeah, people know you're coming.
You don't like them anymore? I have a pair of wide whale corduroys. I like them very much.
Well, you look good in anything, and I don't.
Do you have any bell bottoms?
No, not any longer. I did when I was younger, and I had those leather shoes that they were brown leather, and they had a flat rubberized sole, and they went to the middle, and they just had a seam in the middle, only a seam in the middle.
Platform shoes?
Oh no,
No.
no,
I cannot
I'm
picture
much
this.
older than you.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so I recently watched something about Winston Churchill,
I watched that too.
Gary Oldham, and Churchill reversed victory signed out of in error to the newspaper, and that means up your bum in, British law, whatever, not law, but in symbology, right? So I just wanted to let you know that. But the origins of that gesture.
Which one? The victory sign or the up your bum sign?
I'm trying to figure it out here. I think we're gonna just.
I just think that the whole thing is kind of funny because, he wasn't young when he did that. And all of the young people would be like, like now, like my kids would, myself
Yeah.
or my husband would do something stupid like that. And the kids would just shake their heads.
But it connected him to the younger generation. In that case, they thought it was funny, and he very shortly after that point, he got on he took the subway on his own, and just met the real people and asked them what they thought about, going on, whether to persevere and try to hold back the Nazis, or to try to sue for peace with Hitler, and to the person, not the man, but to the person, each one of the persons on this railroad car, all said, "Fight on," and that led to the speech. "We will fight in the trenches. We will fight on the beaches. We will fight."
Yes.
And it brought the country together. It's funny how a speech like that can bring a country together, and then there's other speakers that don't have that. They bring a country apart, almost purposely, seemingly. Oh my goodness! Well, there we have that. So we are coming to the point here where we need to have one more poem from our friend.
All right.
I did want to read one part of Howl.
Oh, yes. Please.
This is Howl by Allen Ginsberg, because we talked about it being a controversial poem because it was considered to be lewd and lascivious, and it was monitored as a result. But then it was produced or published by Lawrence Ferlinghetti. So I just want to read this first part. I saw the best minds of my generation destroyed by madness, starving, hysterical, naked, dragging themselves through the Negro streets at dawn, looking for an angry fix. angel-headed hipsters burning for the ancient heavenly connection to the starry dynamo and the machinery of night, who poverty and tatters and hollow-eyed and high sat up smoking in the supernatural darkness of cold water flats, floating across the tops of cities contemplating jazz, who bared their brains to heaven under the L and saw the Mohammedan angels staggering on tenement roofs, illuminated, who passed through universities with radiant, cool eyes hallucinating Arkansas and Blake Light, tragedy among the scholars of war, who were expelled from the academies for crazy and publishing obscene odes on the windowsill, on the windows of the skull, who cowered in unshaven rooms in underwear, burning their money in wastebaskets and listening to the terror through the wall, who got busted in their pubic beards, returning through Laredo with a belt of marijuana for New York, who ate fire in paint hotels or drank turpentine in Paradise Alley, death or purgatory their torsos night after night, with dreams, with drugs, with waking nightmares, alcohol and cock and endless balls, incomparable blind streets of shuddering cloud and lightning in the mind, leaping toward poles of Canada and Patterson, illuminating all the motionless world of time between. And that's just one section, the first section. And I imagine the mention of the cock and the balls and everything was what would preclude this poem from at first becoming published. That was language that wasn't acceptable. So now we hear about cock and balls quite often, and endless balls, it says here. But anyway, that's not the whole poem, obviously. This is many, 8-10 pages more. But it's a wonderful poem. I urge you to go out and listen to or read Howl by Allen Ginsberg.
I was lucky enough to see Allen Ginsberg at URI. He was reading at the Ryan Center, not the Ryan Center, at Keeney Gym. And I remember he had a harmonium, and he was almost like a Buddha. He was just so magnetic.
Yeah.
And I remember when it was a receiving line, I went and I shook his hand, and he gave me this look. It's like he looked into my soul. He looked at me like, not at me, but into my soul. And this was maybe a few years before he passed, but it was just like, and he signed, I got a book, I have his anthology, and he signed it for me. And it was a wonderful experience. I just to hear him read like America and some of the other poems that are so poignant that still carry weight today.
Did he have to use paper, or did he
Oh no,
remember them?
He had his harmonium, and he was doing chants, and he was chanting and doing his harmonium, and he was reading, and it was just a wonderful experience.
Can you read one more?
Absolutely.
And then we'll wrap it up.
Sounds good.
That's fun.
I am going to read something called The Highlight Film.
The highlight.
No.
film.
I'm going to read A Walk Down That Old Path.
A Walk Down That Old Path by our guest today, Russell Gunlock.
And this is my brother's, one of my brother's favorite poems, and we did a collaboration on this as well. At this very moment, hail shower beneath the clouds, a swarm of locust crop dusters, brown leaves lapse decay, chaos in mind disarray. The last granola scraps dumped in the gutter, damp, dark, rainy, finding only ideal joke to play on the clowns. He started to speak Aramaic. No one understood one word. Experiencing something mystical, something hysterical, the brainwave, questioning the thunder, full of self-doubt. Not paying attention, zookeeper? Paranoia slips through keyhole, door slams, cage bolted shut. Being inside, not so bad. Small detail, better than no detail. Feeling uncomfortable, laughter follows, absentee voices wherever they go. That laughter submits to insecurity. Could it be the real mind in this room, tired of paying price of admission to prayer resort, squeal to a halt, tires outside?
I can see why your brother liked that one.
Yeah, I can too.
He's performed that without me too. He's gone to open readings and performed that without me, which is fine.
Actually heard it. It's been a blast having you visit with us today. I appreciate presence of the wonderful and incomparable.
It's been an awesome.
I'm just
a
a
pleasure.
spectator over here, but it was a lot of fun.
It's been a pleasure being here with both of you.
All right.
And I hopefully you can come back sometime.
Yes,
I'd love
I
to
was
talk
just
some
going
more.
to say that, but we're going to say that after the exit. Make sure you come back again soon.
Absolutely. You let me know.
All right.
Whenever.
take care.
This
Good to
is
see
a wonderful
you.
time. Wonderful time.
Enjoyed
Thank
the
you.
visit.
And I'll see you on the 14th.
10-4, 5-6 on that 392. Bring it in.
All right.